Republican lawmakers now reportedly are ready to assist former President Trump with border enforcement and immigration reform if he retakes the White House. Senator Ted Cruz and Congressman Troy Nehls, both of Texas, say plans to strengthen the border security and enforcement within the United States are on the table right now. Retired Border Chief Rodney Scott wrote an open letter endorsing Trump. More than 200 retired Department of Homeland Security officials signed on. And they argue, and this is a quote, President Trump is the only candidate that we can trust to secure our nation's border, end quote. The former president continues to hit his rival on an issue he knows he wins on.
They've thrown open your borders to criminals and terrorists. They've flooded your towns with deadly drugs and death. They've given you jobs to illegal migrants. And this Tuesday is your chance to stand up and declare that you are not going to take it anymore.
Law enforcement is bracing for another possible surge of illegal immigrants at our southern border. I mean, we've been watching a caravan that's massing on the other side of the border for 2 weeks now. Texas officials say they've seen an increase in crossings of so-called special interest aliens. Okay, that's a problem. We don't even want 5 of them, let alone thousands. These people could pose a specific level of threat to American citizens. Brooke Taylor on the story from McCaul in Texas. Brooke.
Harris, one of the major concerns that officials have with these special interest aliens is they're coming from countries that don't communicate with the U.S., so that makes it difficult to vet them because they don't share their criminal histories. We just saw a major example of this making national headlines out of Chicago last week. An illegal migrant there charged with shooting a Jewish man wearing a yarmulke on his way to synagogue, now confirmed as a special interest alien from Mauritania in Northwest Africa. Sources tell Fox he was apprehended in the San Diego sector, then released into the U.S. last year. Now, back here at the border in Texas, DPS says they're seeing those special interest aliens among the bigger groups. In Eagle Pass, our cameras catching 2 migrants identified as special interest aliens from Pakistan. DPS also sharing these pictures after apprehending a group of 30 migrants in Maverick County, including 3 unaccompanied boys and 3 special interest immigrants from Iran and Guinea. With the election just days away, I also wanted to ask what authorities at the border are anticipating ahead of the election.
We're closely monitoring. There's tens of thousands of immigrants right now waiting in southern Mexico, just waiting to see what's going to happen. We do anticipate we may see a surge, but the thing is in Texas, we're ready.
And DPS officials say right now there is no plan to increase the manpower right now at the border. We'll see if that changes. But as Lieutenant Olivares there said, they are ready here. Harris.
Great. I did a ride-along with him when I was down at the border last. A lot going on still. Great reporting, Brooke. Thank you.
Yep, he's the best.
Congressman Michael McCaul, Republican of the state of Texas, chairman of the House Foreign Affairs and member of the House Homeland Security Committees, both. Good to see you. Chairman, tell me this.
Thank you.
The situation in Texas and along our border is so much a focus this election. What do you want voters who maybe are still deciding to know exactly in their decision making? Because now every state is a border state because of fentanyl and the sex trafficking that have permeated our border from there.
Essentially that Joe Biden on day one, Kamala Harris reversed the policies that were working, like Remain in Mexico. That, by the way, Harris, I passed out of my committee. We passed it on the floor. It says you have to remain in Mexico pending your political asylum claim. You're not going to be released into the United States. Very, very simple. On day one, Joe Biden reversed that policy. The cartels knew that. And so catch and release came back into our society. What happened? About 10 million illegal aliens have now gotten into our country, and the fentanyls, and the drug traffickers, and the sex traffickers. We have a criminal enterprise network operating in the United States right now due to these failed policies. I'll tell you what, in my state, #1 issue, but it does impact every state because they're all being impacted by it. We hear of shootings, we hear of fentanyl deaths, and enough is enough. They want order at the border. They want the border to be secure. We had it done. This is what really frustrates me. We had this thing done, and then Joe Biden, Kamala Harris come in, the borders are, and all went to hell.
Look, you talk to a lot of voters in and outside your state. I know that, and many lawmakers do. Some of you are on the trail for Republicans across the country in the House and Senate, because down ballot is really going to matter no matter which president is in the office. I can't imagine this issue of a broader view of illegal immigration doesn't come up for whomever takes the mantle next. So what needs to get done first? You can't do it all. I mean, 40 years of dealing with this has proven that. So what can you get done if a President Trump is the next president?
Now, I've been dealing with this issue for about 40 years when I worked for the Department of Justice, then chairman of Homeland, and now chairman of Foreign Affairs. Very easy. Return the policies that worked. Remain in Mexico worked. Have the political asylum claims adjudicated outside the United States, and therefore they're not released in the United States. It's not a rocket science here. And secondly, build the rest of the wall, the infrastructure. Bring the technology down there. The technology works. We just don't have it down there. We don't have the resources and the manpower. You know, Harris, this can be done. This can be done so easily. That's what frustrates me the most. It's not that hard to do, but politics has always gotten in the way of this. And under a Trump administration and a Republican House and Senate, we're going to finish the job here. And that's why the election is so important.
Chairman McCaul, appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.